Welcome to another edition of Veritas Half Hour. Veritas Half Hour is our weekly television program where we talk about academic excellence and quality formation at Veritas University, Abuja. My name is Cyril Ole. In this week's edition, we have in our studio Reverend Father Dr. Martin Onukuba. Father Onukuba will be talking to us about our Lenten observances on campus. Apart from being the Director of Development at Veritas University, Abuja, Father Onukuba is also the Assistant Chaplain for Veritas University. Father, you are welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much.
It's nice to have you again in our studio after some time. Father, we are looking at Lenten observances in Veritas University as a community, how they affect the students, how they affect the staff. And specifically, your office was mentioned last week when we talked to Father Amade. What is your office doing to ensure that students participate actively in the various programs that the university is doing as it affects the Lenten observances?
Okay. Thank you very much. I think I will begin with my background. Okay. Before I came here, I was 9 years working for Justice and Peace Development.
Okay, JDPC.
Yeah, JDPC. And I was working for the Archdiocese of Onitsha, and then working for the Onitsha province.
Okay.
So I'm with that background. So when I came in here, I was appointed the Director of Development, and I want to remain grateful to the VC. I think this is the first time I'm having that office.
Okay.
So I'm the first on board. And from my letter of appointment, it's a liaison with the bishops, okay, the organizations, Catholic organizations and foundations to raise money for the university. And then as the VC will deem fit, other assignments. Mm-hmm. And one of them is he made me a chaplain, a vice assistant chaplain, okay, of the chaplaincy.
Okay.
So that is from this angle I'm going to talk about the Lenten observance, yeah, of the university. We will try as much as possible to follow the Catholic Church, the Church of Nigeria, and then the Archdiocese of Abuja in observing this. Okay. So already we have distributed small boxes for Lenten collection, where you fast, you send out the proceeds of your fast, okay, and then at the end of the Lenten observance, as a percentage we send to the Archdiocese of Abuja, and as a percentage we keep, the bishop will keep, will allow us to keep for the university. Then if you look at the social teachings of the church, from where we started this Lenten campaign, from Justice and Peace, there are 6 areas of interest of Justice and Peace Commission. And one of the last area is on charity. Okay. We will have, even all of them will require the church's attention. Like environment, we have environmental justice, we have social and economic justice, we have judicial and penal reform, we have democracy and good governance, and then we'll have peace and conflict resolution, and then charity. And I'm so happy with the curriculum here. The VC has allowed us also that GST programs, that students are taught the social teachings of the church. So it is only our function now to make them practical in their lives.
Exactly.
So that is one of the essential things. From our office and from the chaplaincy, we have been able to identify students that cannot feed themselves. Okay. It's not their fault because some of them are on scholarship. Okay. So normally people offer scholarship to indigent and bright students. Okay. They pay for their tuition, so whenever they come. So that's what we do. And for the past few years, we have been doing it. Okay. In our list, we have up to 65 students. And we'll try as much as possible to feed them. Maybe it is a full meal a day, if it's a full meal a day. Then we will give incentives to students that help others. These are the ways of teaching them how to help others. Those who can fetch water for others, those who can assist others. As a particular student that is always in company with another student because the student's sight cannot carry her so much. So these are the things that the students should know. And then coming to environment, we have already taught them how to keep the environment clean, no burning, and they are sticking to that. And the other aspects of peace and conflict, you see, we don't have cases of fighting here. Yeah, so they are learning it from the classroom and from practice. So that is the essence of staying in a university where everybody is watching you. It's going to help you to grow. So at the end of the day, at the end of the courses, and the end of the practical ways, a student should be able to say, I went through a school that taught me compassion. So the other things we do in the Lenten period, we do fasting. They are also, if you see the way they go to, let's say during these exams, they have to eat 3 times. Then especially fasting from hatred, fasting from sin, fasting from all sorts of ills.
Okay, so Father, when we talk about fasting in this season, we're not just talking of fasting from meals, fasting from drinks.
That the fasting from students' vices.
Okay.
We have noticed it. We have not had reports of fighting. At least this Lenten period, we don't normally have that report. No quarreling and so on. The thing we want to promote more is helping other students, especially when they're in difficulty. Helping other students, where it will be difficult for them to be contributing because some of them they don't have the money, but at least let them fast from vices.
How do we ensure that this is maintained even after the Lenten period?
No, yeah, it is already, because from my office, like I said, we have tried to introduce a lot of things. There was a time we looked for talents. Okay, these are ways of encouraging people. There's a time we look for people who have tendencies to help others. There's a time we look for compassionate people, so students. See how they take themselves to the clinic when they are sick. This is out of compassion, and we are really imbibing in them how to go in with these tenets of the Catholic teachings. So, and I think they will pick it. A lot of them are really on it already.
Okay. Is there a way the university will identify students in this area? Students who have shown exemplary character in showing compassion, in helping others.
Yes.
And then what can the university do for them? But this will also help others to learn.
The university, there is a way of identifying them.
Okay.
And with all humility, I think I have started giving out a token of appreciation.
Okay.
I give out meal coupon. But I know that at the end of the whole thing, we will recommend some names to the VC for reward.
Okay. When you say you give out meal coupons, are you talking of you as Reverend Father Dr. Martin, or your office Director of Development, or the other adjunct office Assistant Chaplain? You're wearing so many caps now, I'm getting confused.
No, let's leave it that way. Sometimes if you want to try something, you do it on individual basis, on a personal note.
Okay.
And if it clicks, then you can sell it.
Okay.
If it doesn't work out, you just kill it that way.
Okay. So you talked about at least 65 students that you have so far identified. These 65 students, will they come under help from the university, or do they also belong to part of the people you recommend to the parish or the diocese from whatever we get here?
I know we're not sending to the diocese. It's a university.
I'm thinking of this society called Society of St. Vincent de Paul that we have in parishes. We don't have that yet in Veritas.
Yeah, and actually I was discussing with the VC this morning that we need to establish Justice, Development and Peace Commission.
Okay.
And I know his remarks. I think he's favorable to that.
Okay.
In some parts of the church in Nigeria, we have Vincent de Paul. But in some parts, we have Justice and Peace doing the work.
Okay.
So they all geared towards charity, except that Justice and Peace Commission has a wider area of charity.
Is your office organizing any either retreat or visitation to conclude the Lenten period?
So which of the offices you mean now?
See, that's why I said I'm getting confused. Okay, let's go with the development, the development office.
No, I think from the chaplaincy, we will try and do that.
Okay.
I will try and do that. The development office may not have the time also to organize a retreat. It's for chaplaincy
that
work.
could be done through the chaplaincy.
Yes.
Okay, Father, finally, let's look at some of the activities on campus during this Lenten period. For instance, Stations of the Cross. Is it compulsory for students? Is there any significance to what we do on campus?
If you are looking at things that are compulsory for students, you may not
find any.
You may not find any. Well, what we know that once you enter the university, every exercise becomes, you are advised to join.
Okay.
You know, Stations of the Cross. You know, because we don't have. Some students may not understand what is Stations of the Cross. It is just reliving the Passion of Christ, and some of them come. But because of these exams, you can't check them. You can't check them. Then community mass is compulsory because we need to pray for the university.
Right.
We need to pray for safety. We need to pray for success. And even if you are not of the Catholic faith, you need to know about the Catholic faith, because you can't go through university or Catholic university without knowing about at least one or two things about the Catholics. So that's an advantage, seeking the truth. So when you block your head from knowing knowledge, then you are not a student. Then the mass, many of them attend the mass is recommended, but I must have to stress on abstaining from vices, which I have seen some of them do. Their life has changed. Most of the complaints, some of them complain, we don't have this. Surprisingly, there was a time the genset broke down. We didn't receive any complaint. Was
it because of the Lenten observances?
I don't know.
But that has been fixed anyway.
Yes, it has been fixed. So, but before, you will see them writing, I think they took it as part of Lent.
Okay. Nice talking with you, Father. We'll be talking with Reverend Father Dr. Martin Onukuba. Father Onukuba is wearing so many hats, as I said earlier. He is the Director of Development at VERITAS University, Abuja. He is also the Assistant Chaplain for the chaplaincy at the same university. Father, it's always nice to talk with you. Thank you for coming to our studio.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
so we'll keep on observing the Lenten period.
Yeah, thank you, Father. Welcome back. We also spoke with Reverend Monsignor Michael Sasa, who is the head of department, philosophy department at Veritas University, Abuja. He also shared his ideas and teachings on the Lenten observances at Veritas University, Abuja. Monsignor, you're welcome to our studio.
Pleasure.
It's always nice to talk to you.
Thank you.
I am privileged to be talking to a Monsignor.
Me too, sharing with you. I'm happy.
When I grow up, I want to be a Monsignor.
Oh, my good God. I want to be a communication practitioner also.
You're welcome, Monsignor.
Thank you, sir.
Monsignor, we are looking at the Lenten observances, particularly as they affect staff and students of Veritas University, Abuja. That's our point of reflection this week on Veritas Half Hour. Let's look at how the Lent should impact on both the staff and the students of Veritas University, Abuja.
Well, Lent as a package,
yes,
calls for reflection.
Okay.
And reflection that also calls for action. This is the synergy that exists between, theory and practice. We will listen to readings on daily basis on what Lent expects of you and I, of all of us. We will also have to think about how to bring about this whole idea of reflecting on the reason behind the Lenten season. Okay. That simply means the practice of it, putting it all into practice.
How do we encourage our students and staff at Veritas University, Abuja, to find time in the midst of all they do, in the midst of their studies, in the midst of their lectures, in the midst of the community service, to find time to meditate on who we are, where we think we are going?
Well, that's a very beautiful question. It's a gradual process.
Okay.
Don't forget that every student has a background.
All right.
And some have come from homes where, when they are not talking, television is talking. Where television is not talking, radio is talking. In other words, they probably have not been brought up in the culture of finding time to settle down, to reflect. So our starting point is making them to see the value of reflection, of meditation. It's a gradual process. And like you said, in the midst of various activities in the university, and of course, the first of them all, their studies. How do we make them look for, search for, and have the time to really say, look, at this period of the day, let me pause.
But is it also possible to find Christ, so to say, to meditate, even while we are engaged in activities such as community service to the university? Is it possible?
It's very possible.
Okay.
But it requires consciousness. Consciousness in the sense that, look, listen, in all I do, I must see Christ in all I do. To arrive at, even at this conclusion, that I must find Christ in all I do, requires meditation and reflection.
Okay.
In other words, I'm not just a machine. I'm a human person. And in me is God. It is God that propels me on, where we can really have time to discuss with them and also listen to them. By so doing, we chip in this area of reflection, of meditation, looking for meaning of our existence, looking for meaning of all that we do. Now, if we find no positive meaning in what we do, why? We must make a U-turn. It requires also commitment on the part of the clergy who are either lecturing or studying. the VC is looking into it and has called us together in order to, throw it open. Now, it requires each person now to go back and see how it can be relevant in this scheme of things. We really have to make an impact felt in the life of these students. We just cannot sit back, fold our arms, go to deliver a lecture, come back and feel we are fulfilled. No, there's a reason for which we are here. Our bishops may have just as well assigned us to parishes, but our bishops find reason why we should be here, and that's why we are here. So the VC is looking into it.
Could this take the form of an organized retreat for both staff and students?
Well, it's just one. One, because retreat can occur perhaps once a year, twice a year, depending. But this other one we're talking about now should be a weekly activity where we get the students together and then we try to talk to them, we discuss with them the meaning of life. We discuss with them the value of their studies in the general scheme of our humanity. If we do not do this, there's a vacuum.
I particularly like when you said to find out the value of their studies in the scheme of things.
Yes.
Because otherwise I was going to ask you, must you turn all of us into Reverend Fathers and monks because we are in your school?
Well, if I'm able, even as you are talking to me now, with all apology to your wife, I don't mind making you a Reverend Father. But then you see, now coming back again to reality, the whole aim is actually not to turn everybody to Reverend Father and Reverend Sister.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then to make us, see why we should be aligned with our God.
Okay.
Outside God, life has no meaning. Outside Him, life has no meaning. Now, life has meaning and value because there is God, who is the initiator of even our existence and the finisher of our sojourn on earth here. Outside Him, therefore, honestly, we have noticed. Let me give you one typical example. Mm-hmm. I hope with the time will permit me.
Yeah.
Quickly. You know what? If you look at our life, the way it is, you will pity man. You know why? The way we work daily to make sure we acquire money to take care of ourselves and those who are under our care. We gather this money. What do we do with the money? That's where do we pity man. We labor in sun, in rain to gather this money. What is the money meant for? Money has risen. The value of money, according to economics, is the velocity, so to say, or the rapidity through which this money changes hands.
Right.
That's where the value is.
Yeah.
Now, money kept in the bank has stagnant meaning. So the more this money changes hand, the better for money. And going along that line, you work at the end of the month, you gather your money. What is the meaning? That you are able to have first food to keep the body system going, then clothing, not to go naked, and then shelter to find a place to lay your head at the end of the day. These are the three major reasons for money. Okay. Now, by the time you look at it, we look at the very first one, which is food. What you labor for to get money, you now buy food. You eat it, it digests, you go to convenience, sit down conveniently, and pour your money out into a container, and you're happy to flush it away. Pity indeed. So you are flushing away your money, you are flushing away what you have labored for.
In other words, the what you are looking at is how to let our students in particular understand that there is no need for primitive acquisition of wealth.
It has to have a meaning. You don't just acquire for nothing. It must have a meaning attached to your acquisition. And by the time you see yourself moving into billions, you must sit down and think, what is it for? That's why we are created rational. Why am I amassing this? One, you have no control over the longevity of your life.
All right.
You don't even know when you are departing from here, this bus stop. So what is the meaning of acquiring all these and keeping them somewhere? But before you know what is happening, we have had so many who, after keeping all that money, either in the bank or in the house or somewhere else, they die suddenly. What happens to the money? People who didn't even know when you labored for it will spend it on your behalf and spend recklessly. You should be able to sit and say, what's the meaning of what I'm doing? And even sometimes some say, harbor themselves by saying we are laboring for our children. What are we talking about? You build a house even for your children. By the time your children get to that level, they say
they won't like the house. Exactly. Yeah.
Either they demolish it and build a better one,
or they leave it and travel outside the country.
So we should be able to sit down and reason. What do we do? Why do we do what we do?
Thank you, Monsignor Michael Sasa, Head of Department of Philosophy Department, Veritas University, Abuja. Monsignor has helped us also to understand the meaning of life as we reflect on the gains of the Lenten season, particularly at Veritas University, Abuja. It's been nice talking with you, and it's been nice. Thank you for investing your time with us.
Thank you.
Keep watching our programs weekly. My name is Cyril Ole.